Hi, so I'm adding this for the research statistics class and specifically analyzing the article that we had on gift giving from the Journal of Business Research. And so right now, just recording it. If I can, I will add a little bit in terms of going through the article. But what I wanted to do, just in case, was to I'll call out some pages and where I am as I go through the article. Again, it is the article from the Journal of Business Research. It's not giving the same old song and dance. Givers' misguided concerns about thoughtfulness and boringness keep them from repeating gifts by Julian Givey. So interesting article, I thought, and kind of some relevance to it. But what it's saying, really at the core, the idea is that it's about finding a gift that someone likes, and what does it mean? Does it make sense to stick with it? If somebody traditionally gives you a Chick-fil-A gift card or something, does it make sense from that person's perspective to stick to it? Or at some point, do they, even if they know you really like it, at some point do they think it's a boring gift? And does that make them think it's boring, or does the giver think it's either boring or thoughtful? That's sort of the mediation components to this, and how does that ultimately lead to it being a repeat gift or not? So, role, whether it's the giver or the recipient, that is our X independent variable. Choosing to repeat gift is Y, our dependent variable, and then the mediating variables are the thoughtfulness of the gift and the boringness of giving a repeat gift. What they propose is that it boils down to three considerations. One, the desire to give or receive a gift that's perceived as the one that best matches the recipient's preferences. So everyone kind of has that desire. Two is the extent to which they feel it would be thoughtful of the giver to repeat a gift previously given to the recipient. Three is then the consideration. The third consideration is the extent to which they feel it would be boring of the giver to repeat a gift that was previously given to the recipient. Looking through, I found that when it comes to the article, the crux of, there's certainly a review of past literature, but the hypothesis, I mentioned or alluded to some of the hypotheses, but the crux is really on page 89, the first full paragraph, when the author says, I posit that, however, the perceived lack of thoughtfulness and excess of boringness surrounding the act of giving a repeat gift is one-sided. Specifically, I suggest that givers perceive the act of giving a repeat gift to be less thoughtful, more boring than the recipients. So you can already see that the author is leading to the fact that the recipient wants the gift that the recipient wants. It's the giver that tends to look at this as being a little bit more boring, and perhaps less likely to repeat at some point. So in sum, the author says, I propose the following. Givers do not give repeat gifts as often as recipients prefer. That leads to hypothesis one, largely because givers perceived the act of giving a repeat gift to be less thoughtful, hypothesis two, and more boring, hypothesis three, than do the recipients. He does go through his methods and how he studied, including the number of participants. Goes through giving gifts that are tangible, such as a wine bottle, non-tangible such as gift cards that I mentioned earlier. He comes down on page 91. Study 1D results and discussion consistent with H1. Givers gave the repeat gift less often than recipients preferred, and he finds the p-value to show that statistically significant. So these hypotheses are being supported. I'm not going to go through each study just on the interest of time and what I see where I'm at time-wise, but I will say that figure one is a critical one in terms of considering mediating variables, because it does show, with respect to the relevance to our course, that you start with the role, whether it's the giver or the recipient, again, that X variable. You go up to either the mediating variables, the thoughtfulness of the giving the repeat gift or the boringness of giving the repeat gift. And then ultimately you get to the consequence of the choosing the repeat gift, and that is our why or dependent variable. If it in the end, what he has found or what the author has found, but just let me say real quick about those mediation variables, that the thoughtfulness of the gift, the boringness of the gift, it is uh, serving to help us understand or explain why or how the relationship exists between X and Y. And again, that's a lot of what we studied this semester, and an interesting way that the authors added in this particular study. So, what did the author find? Again, demonstrated that gift givers do not give repeat gifts as often as recipients prefer. That's hypothesis one, and it's largely because givers view that act of giving a repeat gift to be less thoughtful, hypothesis two, and more boring, hypothesis three, than the recipients do. So I would say, just in thinking about this in a practical sense, it is pretty relevant. I mean, there are times when you have a tradition of giving a certain gift card or otherwise to a person, and it's always been a tradition. They've always liked it, but at some point, as a giver, you might think, "Hey, I'm gonna mix it up, be a little more thoughtful." But the reality is, maybe that person's counting on the Chick-fil-A card, the Chipotle card, the Visa gift card, and the from the recipient's perspective, there might not have been that reason to mix it up. So I do find it to be, if you're thinking with the recipient in mind, helpful study, and practical, and a little bit unique as well. Thank you.